tea and other drinks.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه إخوتي في الله حياكم الله. May Allah reward you all. These are our last classes. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless you all, to bless us all in our class. Now, we're in the chapter of Fi'l al-Amr. We're in the chapter of the command verb. And the command verb has 5 pronouns because it deals with second person afwan, al-mukhatab, anta, anti, antuma, antum, wa antunna. Naam. The fi'l amr has 3 scales. Has 3 scales. If'al wa if'il, or uf'ul. If'al wa if'il. The way I'm speaking now, this is how you speak when it comes to ilm sarf. When it comes to sarf, you're talking scales. If'al wa if'il. The beginning of fi'l amr on the fa'al scale. And let me tell you, this book here that we're doing, book 1, the topic of book 1 is fi'l madi, fi'l mudari, fi'l amr on the fa'al scale. That's the topic of this book, except that the first 10 chapters are the preliminary things you need to know before you study Arabic. Is this understood, brothers and sisters online? That you know what this book is, what this book is about. Na'am. This is not a Nahu book. This book is about sarf. But particularly sarf means to change. It means to conjugate. It's on 2 categories. You have the conjugation of verbs and the conjugation of nouns. This is about the conjugation of verbs, only on the fa'ala scale. The second book is about the conjugation of nouns. But before we get into that, there's so many things about verbs you have to learn in that first book. In book number 2, inshallah. It looks like we're going to be taking like a break for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, we're going to take off 2 weeks. So what I want you all to do is to work on your articulation. I want you to read 1 time not looking, 2 times 1 time looking, 2 times not looking. Naam. This book is not a book of rules. You don't have rules to memorize. Naam. But you have to just remember just the basic things the basic things of conjugation. Naam. How to conjugate the madi, how to conjugate the mudari, and how to conjugate the amr. Naam. And there is an abundance of vocabulary in this book. Naam. One of the things let me tell you all the secret. I don't tell everybody this, because everybody can't swallow it. The major thing that made me write this book, the main thing was something called the Medina books. The Medina book 1 has 4 verbs in it. 4 verbs. What are you going to do with 4 verbs? You can't even get out the house. You can't even get out your bed. You can't even stand up. 4 verbs. I used to look at the book and I used to see the brothers come to the Masjid and they go through the book and they leave because they didn't learn no Arabic. And sit there 3 months doing the book, and then I was like, what is this? So I put this book together because that book is a good program. If you do book 1 with all the side books with it, it's like another 10 side books with it. But if you think you're going to do book 1 and you're going to go to book 2, you're looking for depression and a headache. Then if you do book 1 and the other 10 side books, if you think you're going to find another 10 teachers, where are you going to find it? You have a half a teacher from the first place. A half a teacher. Where are you going to find somebody to go with you with 10 side books? You're not going to find it. So that's the main thing that made me put this together. And I tell you, nobody writes a book except that he sees a gap and he fills the gap. That's who writes a book. He sees a gap and he fills the gap. That's what the ulama do. Nobody's just writing because they just like a topic. They see that something is not written in this topic and they want to explore it more or enhance it more. So at the beginning of the book is the basic things that somebody needs to know from al-damir al-muttasil, then the damir al-muttasil, then al-mudhakkar, wal-mu'annaf, al-ma'rifa, wal-nakira, al-mufrad, al-muthanna, wal-jama', then lam al-mulk, and then mudaf, mudaf ilayh, and other little things like that you must know. Then the real topic of this book is the conjugating of the verb in the Madi and Mudari. Another thing I want you all to know, that those preliminary classes at the beginning of the book is about 10 chapters before you start fi'l Madi, before you start the past tense verb. There is no past tense verb that comes in the book until you get to the past tense verb. And then when you're doing the past tense verb, you start with 2 pronouns, then the third pronoun, then 4, then 5, until you get up to 12. But you only get the pronouns that come. Nothing is skipped. And while you're doing fi'l Madi, you don't have anything in the book about fi'l Mudari. Nothing. And while you're doing fi'l Mudari, there's nothing in the book about fi'l Amr. It's a very slow sequence, of very monotonous about putting it together. Are you all with me? Do you all understand what I'm saying? So that when you teach, you understand how the book is designed. Na'am. Each pronoun. You remember how we went through the pronoun? Pronoun by pronoun by pronoun by pronoun. Now. So now we're in Fi'l Amr, and Fi'l Amr has 3 scales. Let's go back and let's look. Okay? Let's go back and let's look. On page 211, brothers and sisters, I want you to understand what is in this book. I'm not saying it's the best book, but if you teach it, that you understand what it is about. The first 10 lessons are just the primary things, the necessary things you need to know before you study Arabic. So listen up. Listen up. Anybody teaches the book from day one. From day one. The student has to read the sentence by looking 2 times without looking, no stuttering. You have to push him to the limit. He's going to stutter. She's going to stutter, but that's the goal. You go home and get your work. Don't come to class stuttering. Tell them just like that. Be a little stern. Listen, don't come to class stuttering, because you have to develop. And that's how you know if you're developing. You leave off stuttering. So you have to read the sentence 1 time looking, 2 times not looking. When you come into class, don't make it too hard. Don't read to the student the sentence and they have to hear it and then they repeat from you. You read it to one time and they repeat it. No, have them look at it. Make it easy for them. Have them look at it 1 time and then read it, 2 times. Have them look at it. Let them see it clearly. Look at this page 211. It says, Barakallahu fikum. قال حفظه الله فعل أمر على 3 أقسام. فعل أمر على 3 أقسام. The command verb is on 3 categories. The command verb is on 3 categories. افعل مثل اذهب and also افتح. Is that clear, brothers and sisters? 211.
Oh, no.
Is this clear? افعل like what? اذهب. But افتح. We said that the beginning of fi'l amr, it only can start with a kasra or a dhamma. It's never going to start with what? A fatha. It's not going to start with a fatha. It's not going to start with a fatha. So idhab, iftah. That's an example. The second scale is if'il. What's the difference? The ayn al-kalima. What's the difference? The ayn al-kalima. If'il, like ijlis and idrib. And the second scale is uf'ul, like uktub, wa uskut, wa ukhruj, wa udkhul. Na'am. How are we doing? Is this clear? Is this clear? Tayyib. From this, it says, Ya talib al-ilm, O student of ilm, rahimakallah, may Allah have mercy on you. كيف نعرف الأقسام الثلاثة لفعل المضارع? How do we know the 3 different categories? Like if I give you the word jalasa, I give you the word akala, what scale is it going to be on? I just give you any word, nama. I just give you any word, shariba, or la'iba, or fahima. Any word, how are you supposed to know? It says, نعرف فعل الأمر بأربع خطوات بعد أن ننظر إلى فعل المضارع. We know The fi'l amr. We know what scale is going to be on after 4 steps. You have to make 4 steps. Na'am. After looking at what? Al-fi'l mudari. Na'am. So this is why in our book we do fi'l madi first, then fi'l mudari. Does fi'l mudari come from the fi'l madi? Yes. You have to do fi'l madi well. You have to know it well. And from that comes fi'l mudari. And then fi'l mudari, from that comes the amr. You have to know fi'l mudari. No. And we're going to realize why you must know fi'l mudari in order to know fi'l amr. No. You must know it well. Tayyib. Now it says al-ula. What does al-ula mean? Al-khatwa al-ula, the first step. The first step. Al-khatwa al-ula. Hadafu harf al-mudari. Taking away the harf al-mudari. Harf al-mudari means that ta. But there are 4 letters of mudari. There are 4, but we're just dealing with the ta. Na'am. Like if the word is dhahaba, it will be yadhhabu, wa tadhhabu, wa azhabu, wa nadhhabu. It's 4 letters. Na'am. But we're just dealing with the ta. You have to take that ta off. That's the first thing you have to do. That's the first thing you have to do is take off the ta. Hadafu harf al-mudari. Taf'al. You see, it's written in red there. If you have the color version. Ta al-mudari. The harf al-mudari, ta al-mudari. That ta, that's there. ثم نأتي بحمزة الوصل. You're going to replace it with the hamza. Why? Because it says نأتي بحمزة الوصل افعل مكانها وذلك لأن العرب لا تبدأ النطق بالحرف الساكن. Because you can't start in Arabic with a consonant. You have to start with a vowel. How are we doing? Is this clear? الأمر ثلاثي على 3 أقسام. رباعي وخماسي. I don't understand the question. But the other scales are going to come in other books, not in this. Not in this. This is just thulathi. This is just thulathi. Wa alaikum salam. Hayyak Allah ya. Allah yabarak fik. This is just thulathi. The other scales we're going to deal with that later. We're going to deal with that later. طيب فالعرب ما يبدأ النطق بماذا؟ بالساكن. In English, we have words like street, break. You can say bring. No, you can't do that in that. You can say drive. No, they don't have that in Arabic. Drive. They don't have that. Oh, is this clear? Yeah, everybody understands. Brothers and sisters online. So look at this chart here. Just look at one. Anta. It has tadhhabu. Let's look at one. Tadhhabu. When you take off the ta, you're stuck with something that you can't pronounce. And then we just add to that hamza to wasl. Idhabu. Idhabu. We're going to change the n. We're going to deal with the n later. But this is al-khatwa al-ula. This is just the first step to getting the fit number. Look at anti. Anti is tadhabina. We're going to take off that ta, but we're left with something that we can't pronounce. So we're going to add the hamza to wasl. We have idhabina. Na'am. But same thing with antuma, we have tadhhabani. When we take off the ta, we're left with a word that we cannot pronounce, so we add the hamza to wasl, and we have idhhabani. And the same thing with antum and antunna. Is everything clear? Today we want to move on to lesson the step number 2. Al-khatwa al-thaniya. Everything is understood. Harun, everything's clear?
No.
Brothers and sisters online. Tayyib. Let's move. Al-khatwa al-thaniya. Ala al-thaniya. نجعل آخر فعل الأمر ساكنا. The end of the fi'l amr, we have to make it a sukoon. The end of it, you have to make it a sukoon. نجعل آخر فعل الأمر ساكنا. The end of the fi'l amr, we have to make it sakinan with a sukoon. if'al. Like izhabu, now it's going to be izhab. Izhabin is going to be izhabi. When you drop that noon, when you take off that noon, it's izhabi, ends with a sukoon. Izhabani is going to be izhaba. You drop the noon. You drop the noon. Izhabuna is going to be izhabu. Na'am. Well, izhabana is going to stay the way that it is. Na'am. The one with the noon in this one, it's going to come a day that you study that. That's mabni. It's not mu'arab. That's mabni. So it's always going to stay like that. Okay. So barakallahu fikum. Listen to this. To make it a sukoon, if the end of it, na'am, is the original letter, wa harfun sahih, not harf illa, you're going to put a sukoon on it. Na'am. Well, we're going to get, if the end of it is harf illa, like yamshi, na'am is yamshi, we're going to drop the ya. If it's yad'u, and it ends with what? A waw, we're going to drop the waw and say ud'u. Ud'u ila sabili rabbik. Ud'u. Now, if it ends with a fatha, like what? Yaksha, you're going to say iksha. So listen up again. If the fi'l al-mudari ends with harf min huruf al-illa, if the fi'l al-mudari ends with a alif or a waw or a ya, you're going to drop the alif or the waw or the ya. You're just going to drop it. You understand that? But listen to this. Now, let me make myself clear. Let's look at the word mesha. The mudari is what? Yamshi. It ends with a ya there, right? So you say to a man, imshi. Imshi. You would drop the ya. But like this word yamshi, when you're talking to a woman, you say tadhabina. Does it end with a half illa there when I say tamshina? No, it ends with a noon. So it's the same verb, but it doesn't end with a half illa there. Now just look at every time it's mesha yamshi, it's always going to be harf al-illa, taking off the harf al-illa. No. And if the fi'l mudari ends with it, like huwa yamshi, you say, yeah, Zayd imshi. But when you say Zainab tadhabina, you say Zainab idhabi, you just drop that noon. Is this clear? If I have to repeat it, I'll make it clear. How are we doing online? Everything is clear. So if we have the verb da'a, he called. The mudari is yad'u, as a waw at the end. Let me write it on the board for you all. Right. But listen up. When do you drop the aleph and the waw on the ya? If it's the end of fi'l mudari. So when you say yamshi, when is it the end of the fi'l mudari? Only when you say anta tamshi. Now, antuma is tamshiyani. That has a noon. Wa antum tamshuna. That has a noon. You with me? All right. The only one that has a ya is anta. And the same with the wow. You say huwa yad'u, anta tad'u. So you say ya Zayd, ud'u abak. Ud'u, not ud'u. It's nowhere. Ud'u abak. If it's a woman, you're going to say ud'i. Ud'i abaki. Ud'i. Because you have to have that. Because the mudari is what? Tad'ina. The mudari is tad'ina. The mudari is tad'ina. So you're just going to drop that noon. You have the ud'i. You're just going to drop the noon. Nah. So if the verb has a noon at the end, na'am, and you call it, that is from the af'al khamsa. Like if the word is dhahaba, it's antum tadhabuna, you're going to drop the noon and say idhabu. If it's antuma tadhabani, you're going to drop the noon and say idhaba. And if it's anti tadhabina, you're going to drop the noon and say idhabi. Those three pronouns have the noon at the end. We call that thubut noon. Antuma, anti, wa antum. Those three pronouns have a noon at the end. How we doing online? Nah. Tayyib. Look at step number 2. What's step number 2? Step number 2 is making the end of the verb what? Harf il. I mean, and the verb sakinan. So what is missing in this lesson here? What's missing that there's no information to say what about the harf illa? It's not here. So if it's a harf illa, you have to drop it. Okay. Is step number 2 clear? Again, let's look at step number 2 again. نجعل آخر فعل الأمر ساكنا. Make the end of فعل الأمر with a sukoon. افعل. So اذهبوا is going to be اذهب. But اذهبين is going to be اذهبي. You drop the noon. But اذهباني is going to be اذهبا. But اذهبون is going to be اذهبوا. ولكن أنتن تذهبن. You're going to take off the ta. أنتن تذهبن. You're going to take off the ta. You're left with اذهبن. And it's going to stay like that. It's going to stay like that. اذهبن. If that's understood, let's look at step number 3 and let's understand. Step number 3 and step number 4, what is it about? Listen, we already studied what you do at the beginning of the verb. You put a hamza to wasl. We already studied what to do at the end of the word. It had to be sakin with a sukoon. You have to put a sukoon or you have to drop the noon. You either have to put a sukoon or you have to drop the noon. But if it's a harf al-illa, you have to drop the harf al-illa. Is that clear, brothers and sisters online? Everything is clear. Tayyib. Now, look what it says for number 3. Number 3 says, what's the topic? حركة عين الكلمة في المضارع. حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل الأمر. I'm sorry. We want to know عين الكلمة, is it going to get a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma? The عين الكلمة, it could get a fatha, it could get a kasra, or it could get a dhamma. Because we said it has 3 scales. If al, if il, or ul. Are we together on that? That the ain al kalima, it can have a fatha, or a kasra, or a dhamma. We understand that. So now we want to understand, when does it get a fatha, or a kasra, or a dhamma? I'm going to tell you it's very, very simple. And once you know this rule, any verb on the father scale, bam, you could bust it out, as they say in the Bronx. Okay? Any verb that comes to you, you can decide it. So now let's look. It says, الثالثة حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل الأمر. The حركة, meaning the fatha kasra dhamma on the عين الكلمة, on the middle letter. The middle original letter. It says, ننظر إلى حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل المضارع. You have to look at the عين الكلمة في الفعل المضارع. Let's stop right there. Remember when we were doing fi'l mudari, you have to know the عين الكلمة. Is it تذهب or is it تذهب? Is it تجلس or تجلس? Is it تضرب or تضرب? Is it تدخل or تدخل? You got to know that. And this is online. Are you with us? The fi'l amr comes from fi'l mudari. If you're weak there, you're weak there. طيب بارك الله فيكم. Again, ننظر إلى حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل المضارع. You have to look at how is the عين الكلمة in الفعل المضارع. So listen. It says, فإن كانت فتحة يفعل. If it's like that, يفعل. It's a fatha. إن كانت فتحة يفعل. فحركة عين الكلمة في الفعل الأمر تكون فتحة. افعل. افعل. مثل تذهب اذهبوا. تفتح افتحوا. افتح. If it's a fatha, it's going to be a fatha. Again, if it's a fatha al-mudari, if the ainul kalima is a fatha, and the ainul kalima is going to be a fatha. Guys, look at the second one. And kanat kasra yaf'ilu. If it's like that, yaf'ilu. فَأَيْنَ الْكَلِمَةِ فِي الْأَمْرِ تَكُونْ كَسْرَةً. If it's a fatha, it's a fatha. If it's a kasra, it's kasra. Naam. Okay, let's go one more. It says after that, hold on, let's finish. In kanat, let's read. In kanat kasratan yaf'ilu, فحركة عين الكلمة في الأمر تكون كسرة. It's also going to be a kasra. نعم. افعل مثل تجلس اجلس. تضرب اضرب. How are we doing so far? If it's a fatha, make it a fatha. If it's a kasra, make it a kasra. طيب. It says, إن كانت ضمة يفعل فحركة عين الكلمة في الأمر تكون ضمة. أفعل. تكتب اكتب. تسكت اسكت. هذا صح يا إخوة يا عبد الصبور. That's easy, right? Whenever the ain is in the mudara, Harun. That's it. But if it's a dhamma, it's going to be a dhamma. But you have to memorize this. You got to know it. If it's a kasra, the ain al-kalima, we're just talking about the ain al-kalima. It's going to be a kasra. If it's a fatha, it's a fatha. نعم. طيب. الآن الرابع. الخطوة الرابع. Stop. Let's go back to the beginning. الخطوة الأولى, we have to take off the ta and come with hamzatul wasl. The خطوة الثانية, we deal with the beginning. خطوة الثانية, we have to deal with the end now. We have to make it a sukoon. So we're going to either put a sukoon, or we're going to drop the noon, or we're going to drop the harf al-illa. Now, the only two steps left is to know what is the haraka on the ain al-kalima. To know about the ain al-kalima, we have to know the mudari. If it's a fatha in the mudari, it's a fatha in the amr. But we're talking about the ain al-kalima in the amr. We're talking about the ain al-kalima in the amr. We're talking about the ain al-kalima in the amr. How do we know the ain al-kalima in the amr? It's based on whatever it is in the mudari. So if it's a fatha in the mudari, it's going to be a fatha in the amr. And if it's a kasra in the mudari, it's going to be a kasra in the amr. And if it's a dhamma in the mudari, it's a dhamma in the amr. And the only thing left is to know what we studied at the beginning, that is it going to be if, il, or uf. Because we said that the fi'l amr is only with a kasra or a dhamma. It's only with a kasra or a dhamma. It's never going to be what? A fatha. It's never going to start with a fatha. Let's read. الرابعة. ما معنى الرابعة؟ الخطوة الرابعة. The fourth step, the last step. It says, حركة حمزة الوصل في فعل الأمر. يعني the حركة at the beginning of the verb. It can only be a kasra or a dhamma. حركة حمزة الوصل في فعل الأمر. How are you supposed to know what this حركة is supposed to be? تكون إما كسرة أو ضمة لا تكون فتحة. Is everything understood, Harun? Is everything stood online? Everybody, brothers and sisters online. Is everything clear? Let's read. بارك الله فيكم. ننظر إلى حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل المضارع. Again, we have to look at the عين الكلمة again to figure this one out. Again, ننظر إلى حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل المضارع. Again, to figure out the beginning of فعل الأمر. To figure out the beginning. بحمزة الوصل في فعل الأمر, we have to look at the عين الكلمة and fi'l mudari. You have to study fi'l mudari first. So what do you think about a book that comes to you with fi'l amr and you still doing fi'l madi? Like, what do you expect me to know? I'm supposed to understand this. How can I understand this? Just close your eyes and go ahead. Just close your eyes and follow along. That's what we want to do. We don't want you to understand. We just want you to move along. Brothers and sisters online, are you with me? How is the student supposed to comprehend that? No, we don't want you to understand. Just follow along. Come on, it's not like that. Not like that. And this is what people find difficulty studying Arabic. You know? It says, ننظر إلى حركة عين الكلمة في الفعل المضارع فإن كانت فتحة أو كسرة يفعل أو يفعل فحمزة تكون مكسور بالكسرة. ما شاء الله. Oh, it's so easy. If it's a fatha or a kasra, that again is going to be a kasra. If it's a fatha or a kasra, that again is going to be what? A kasra. So tadhabu is going to be idhab. Because this tadhabu is going to be idhab. But taftahu is going to be iftah. But tajlisu that has a kasra is going to be ijlis. Because we're talking about the beginning. What tadribu is going to be idrib. How are we doing online? How are we doing online? How are we doing online? Tayyib. All right. Now look at this last part here. It says, إن كانت حركة عين الكلمة ضمة يفعل فحمزة تكون مضمونا. If that's a dhamma, then the beginning is going to be a dhamma. So the dhamma is always going to come together. Udkhul, ukhruj, uktub. It's going to be two dhammas. Because why is the middle dhamma? Because it's a dhamma. And why is the beginning dhamma? Because the middle is dhamma also. Abdul-Hakim, you with me? Yeah, Harun, you with me? Naam. Ma ashala. It's simplified. It's simple. But now we're going to have some work after this. It says, فإن كانت حركة عين الكلمة ضمة يفعل فالحمزة تكون مضمومة. ما معنى مضمومة؟ يعني ضمة. مضمون. ضمة. It's going to be with a ضمة. مضمونة بالضمة. We don't need مضمومة بالضمة. We just say تكون بالضمة. It doesn't need both. Then we have to rectify that. But just leave it. No, just leave it. Because the other one says مقصورة بالكسرة. مضمونة بالضمة. Leave it. So تكتب is going to be اكتب. تكتب is going to be اكتب. وتسكت is going to be اسكت. That's fi'l amr. 4 steps. The first step is what? Take off ta. The second step, the end of it. We're going to make it a sukoon. By putting a sukoon, or we're going to make it a sukoon by dropping the noon, or if it's harf al-illa, we're just going to get rid of the harf al-illa. Naam. Those are the first 2 steps. The third step is about the ayn al-kalima in the amr. So wherever it is in the mudari, it's going to be the same thing in the amr. If the ayn al-kalima is a fatha in the mudari, it's going to be a fatha in the amr. If it's a kasra in the mudari, it's going to be a kasra in the amr. And if it, what is hidden? What do you mean it's hidden? What's hidden? Okay. And if it's a dhamma in mudari, it's going to be a dhamma in what? In the amr. Now the last step is the hamza to wasl. Listen. The hamza to wasl, it can only be a kasra or a dhamma. That simplifies it. It only can be a kasra or a dhamma. But how do we know whether it's a kasra or a dhamma? You have to look at what? Ayn al-kalima. Ayn al-kalima mudari. So if it's a fatha or a kasra, it's going to be a kasra. If it's a fatha or a kasra, it's going to be a kasra. And if it's a dhamma, it's going to be a dhamma. How are we doing online? How we doing? Now, what is there not to understand about harf illa? Harf illa, you have to drop it, and the amthila are going to come. You're going to know by the examples. You just have to drop it. Let's read. Let's read. Let's read. قال اكتب فعل أمر للأفعال التالية. Tayyib, عندك يا Harun. You sat in the driver's seat today.
Yeah.
Where's the microphone?
Right in front of me.
Harf illa is hard in all topics of verbs. Okay, listen up. Don't say it's hard. Wallahi, it's not hard. And I wrote a whole book just on harf al-illa. The whole book is just harf al-illa. It's just about 30 pages. So I'm going to put it at the end of book 2. The whole thing is about harf al-illa. It's not difficult. Just got to know the rule. That's it. You have to know the rule. Nah. But listen, let me tell you something. Nothing is hard. Listen. Let me tell you something. Listen to this verse. It's in Surah Al-Qamar. It's in Surah Al-Qamar. And Allah mentions it about maybe 5 or 7 times. لَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنِ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have simplified the Quran for contemplation. Does anybody contemplate that? Allah said he simplified it. Who can say it's difficult? Allah. He mentions this verse 7 times in that surah. لَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنِ لِلذِّكْرِ. Dhikr means reading it, understanding it, making tafsir on it, acting according to it. We have simplified the Quran for dhikr. Does dhikr just mean reading and not understanding it? Or not teaching it? Teaching it. Everything with it. فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Is there anybody that would contemplate this? So where's the ones that said it's difficult? Rethink that. Listen, I'm going to tell you. When you go study al-Hadith, it's not difficult. When you go study Nahu, it's not difficult. When you go study, it's Islam. Could there be something difficult about Islam? Billah alayk. When the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam called inna deen yusr, that this deen is yusr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yuridu Allahu bikum al-yusr, wa la yuridu bikum al-usr. Allah wants for you ease. He doesn't want for you difficulty. What about the people that not just practice Islam, they're going to study Islam to teach it? Whoa, that thing is difficult. I don't think this is physics. This is chemistry. No, it's not physics. This is Islam. How many times does the verse come in that surah? How many times? About 5 times. I give you the good news. Listen, there's nothing difficult. Just got to apply yourself. And when you apply yourself, you're going to love it. You're going to love that thing. And I'm not just saying that just to be saying that. There's nothing difficult. There's nothing difficult. Everything I studied, it's just so interesting. You don't know, just that you love some things more than others. That's it. And you don't know what you love more. You tried the apple pie, the cherry pie, the lemon meringue pie, and you tried all the other sweet potato pie. Then you're like, man, that sweet potato pie, man. Oof. And that's how when you study tajweed and you do tafsir and you do fiqh, you might just man tafsir. Like somebody might like fiqh, somebody might like hadith. Everybody floats where they float. You don't know where you're gonna incline to, but you have to try all the different pies. Now, are you all with us? So don't let nobody. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. They used to tell me, "Oh man, that book is difficult." Ooh, and you listen to them and you leave the book off. Don't listen. There is nothing difficult. I don't care. Wait, ooh, man, that book is hard. Ooh, oh, don't do it. You know, some people told me that this book was difficult. I left the book off for 2 years. And when I went and studied it, there was nothing difficult about the book. I was so upset. Just listening to the brothers like, ooh, yeah, that book is, you know what it means? Like, oh man, that book is difficult. You know what that means? I know what's difficult. I'm able to decipher. That's how strong I am. That's what it means. That's all. They're just praising themselves. That's all it means. Oh, that brother's strong in tajweed. When they tell me that brother's strong, when I go sit with him, he's not strong. But you know what it means? That brother's strong in time? I know who's strong and who's not strong. I'm able to decipher that. You know, strong. I'm saying it's strong. How you, Mr. Little, gonna know who's big and strong? How do you know? How do you know who's strong and not strong? You didn't even study the book. How you gonna tell me the book is hard? You didn't even study it. La ilaha illallah. They just praising themselves. Nah. I left the book for 2 years. When I went and studied the book, I could almost hit the book like I was afraid of you. Ain't nothing. I'm afraid of you, and you come and find out you just a regular book like every other book. Tayyib ya Harun. Y'all pardon me for digressing. Tayyib Harun. We have this word takhruju. We know the mudari. Now, the fi'l amr comes from the mudari. So what is this? Now, if you say anta, what are you going to say? Ikhruj. Why you have a kasra there? What does the beginning of the verb get? Why does it get a kasra? Why does it get a dhamma?
Well, I get
The beginning.
the hamza the wasl, right?
Right.
It gets the kasra because it's a fatah on the mudari.
Look, where's the father? It's takhruju.
Right.
It's takhruju. It's a dhamma there.
Wow.
Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, Khalid.
Oh, because the aina kalima got up.
Man, ain't no kalima. Nah. So what do we have? Ukhruj. Anti. Oh, hold on. What's the mudari for anti?
Takrujina.
So you have to take off that ta and you have to take off that noon. Akhruj. None of them start with a fatha.
No, ukhruj.
Okay. Okay, let's get it together. Ukhruji. Naam. Okay, what about antuma? Hold on to ukh. Hold on to the dhamma. Antuma. What are you going to say? What's the mudari?
Huh?
What's the mudari?
The mudari is antum.
Antuma.
Takrujuma.
Takrujani.
Oh yeah.
Takrujani.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so what are we going to do now?
We're gonna drop.
No, don't talk. No, just do it. Just do it. Come on.
No, I need to talk. I need to talk so I can get you stuff there. No, we gotta drop the noon.
Okay, and you gotta take care of the beginning also. The first thing you got to do.
The number is the beginning.
Okay, and drop the noon.
Okay.
Takrujani. Ukhruja. Naam. Ukhruja. Naam. Right. Right. Tayyib. Antum. What do you do for antum?
Antum?
Yeah.
Antum, the mudari is Antum takhrujukum.
Takhrujukum. You forgot the mudari. MashaAllah. Takhrujuna. Okay, let's drop that noon. Let's get rid of that time. Takhrujuna. Okay, right. Now, fil amr.
Yeah, drop the noon, leave the dhamma. Ukhrujuna. I mean, ukhruja.
Ukhruju.
Oh, because it's yeah.
Ukhruju.
Okay, that's gonna take some work.
Yeah, عندك يا غالب. تقطعوا. اقطع. نعم. Why is اقطع? Why is it going to be a kasra? Because there's a fatha there. And then the fatha you're going to run. اقطع. نعم. وأنت اقطعي. وأنتم اقطعوا. وأنتما اقطعا. وأنتن اقطعنا. You're going to have that noon. اقطعنا. يا ذا الصبور. ترجعوا. أنت ارجع. نعم. Go back home. ارجع إلى بيتك. ارجع. نعم. طيب أنت ارجعي. وأنتم ارجعوا. وأنتما ارجعا. وأنتن ارجعنا. How we doing online? This is knowledge. This is لغة العربية. This is knowledge. How we doing online? Now this is the real test here. Okay, taqra'u. This is the first surah that came down from the Quran. This is the first word. Taqra'u. Anta.
Oh, my turn? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Taqra'u. We have a fatha.
Right, fatha.
So we have two things to keep in mind. We got the hamzatul wasl and we have the middle. Taqra'u.
But the fatha, you can't start with the fatha.
No, we have the fatha on the ra when I say taqra'u.
Yeah, right, but you can't start the hamzatul wasl with a fatha. It got to be a dhamma or a kasra.
Okay, good.
Okay,
good.
That's so that it kasra then.
Okay, let's read it.
So I got it though. Iqra.
But we have to make the end of the sukoon.
No, Iqra. 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 Why am I trying to change the ayn al-kalima?
It had to be a fatha.
It got to be a fatha.
Okay, read it. Look at it. Don't look up. Look at it.
Iqra. Iqra.
Iqra. Bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq.
Iqra.
No, Iqra. It has to be sukoon.
Right, it's a sukoon on the hamza.
Iqra. Na'am.
Iqra.
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 I'm trying to say
right, you said it. Now, well, for a woman, what are you going to say? Go to the mudari. Taqra'ina. Go to the mudari. Don't just look in space. Go to the mudari first.
Iqra'i.
Iqra'i. A group of men, antum.
Iqra'u.
Iqra'u. Na'am. Wa antuma, two people. Keep that alif, or you have to keep that alif. Iqra'a. And a group of women, just put the noon on it. Na'am. Put the noon on there for a group of women, antunna. Iqra'na.
We dropped the noon.
No. Antunna.
Oh, yeah. You don't drop that because it's...
Na'am. Indak ya Ghalib. We're going to do this in the house. The rest we're going to stop here. Okay? Tafhamu. Ifham. Now, ya bunay, ifham. Ifham kalam. Understand what I'm saying. Ifham. You're talking to a girl, what are you going to say? Ifhami. A group of men, antum? Ifhamu. And there's a wa antuma? Ifhama wa antunna? Ifhamna. Afwan, azajnak ya Abdullah. طيب يا عبد الصبار تشربوا اشرب don't say اشرب don't say راب اشرب نعم اشرب وأنت اشربي وأنتم كلوا واشربوا Allah says كلوا واشربوا نعم اشربوا نعم وأنتما اشربا وأنتن اشربنا. How we doing online? Very good. How we doing online? Do you know fi'l amr and siga fa'ala? You know fi'l amr? Any verb that you get? Any verb? Yeah, any verb. Bring it. Ha. Okay, some of them have a harf al-illa in the middle. Na'am. So if the verb is yaqulu, it's going to be qul. But it's only qul if it ends there. If it's a group of people who say qulu wa quli. نعم. But if it ends with a sukoon, it's going to be قل. نعم. قلنا. It's going to أنتن قلنا. قلنا حق. قلنا الحق. يا نساء قلنا الحق. Say the truth. نعم. Yeah, it's easy. That's good. That's what I want to hear. I didn't say that just out of flattery or just trying to push your. It's easy, and that's why I put this book together to lay out Arabic on a platter for you. Okay, it's been given to you in a cup, in a bowl. Now I put it on a plate. I want to lay it out and put it on a plate. So tomorrow, let's look at what we have here. I want you to finish this. And look at this here. Look at the next page here, 214. And we're going to start with Abdul Sabor. I want you to give me the fi'l 214. Give me the fi'l mudari' from this amr. If you really know it. Yeah. Right. Ub'ud. Tab'udu. Continue. I'lam. تعلم. نعم. أشكر.
أشكر. I mean تشكر.
تشكر. نعم. عندك يا غالب. The next three. اقرب. تقرب. نعم. اعمل. تعمل. احمد. تحمد. عندك يا هارون. It was, excuse me. It just the expression on your face is why we're laughing. It's like we gave you some uncooked liver, and like it's your turn to eat the liver. You know, you're looking at the liver like I don't know about that. Okay. طيب. افحص. Has to be a ta.
تفحص.
تفحص. Right. افعل.
تفعل.
تفعل. احضر.
تحضر.
No. Figure father, they all have a fatah. No.
Wait, hold on, what?
No.
Oh, yeah, man. So تحضر.
تحضر. Nah, you got the gist of it.
Okay.
Tayyip, we're going to stop here, brothers and sisters online. Okay? We're going to come, I want you to do this at home.
Right.
I want you to do this at home. And then we have these sentences. I imagine tomorrow we should finish. I imagine tomorrow it'll probably be our last class. Tomorrow will be our last class. Oh, we're going to go back to here on page 213. We're going to start from 213. Okay. But we might meet on Monday. We'll see. There's no rush. Monday, I studied a book called Nuzha. And we came to class. We said, man, this is the last class. We're at the end. Teach took a little bit. They said, okay, tomorrow's the last class. We took a little bit. We didn't finish till 3 days later. He took his time. I was so appreciative that he took his time. Most of them, they see like they're near the end. They just give you the shortcut. Well, we're finished. Like, what? Nah. So we're going to take our time. Tomorrow's not going to be our last day. We got 3 weeks left. Alhamdulillah. May Allah reward you all. Tayyib, in the future, we need teachers. We need men and women teachers. I'm going to send out a notification. Na'am. That the women, they're going to write to a certain email, and the brothers, they're going to write to a certain way, an email. We're going to work this thing out. Na'am. The main thing I want you to understand is what this book is about and how the book is taught. How somebody learns Arabic. That's the main thing. And the teacher's just a guide. The teacher is just what? The GPS. The student has to do the work, but you're the GPS. You're going to go down to the corner and make a left over there. Nah. Inshallah, we're going to stop here. We're going to meet tomorrow and even after tomorrow. Barakallahu fikum. Inshallah, everything is understood, but this takes practice. So you should test one another. Barakallahu fikum. We're going to stop here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
See it. I don't know. I can see it.